Okay, today we're going to perform in the B Pretrip. So the B Pretrip starts on this side of the vehicle. From this side of the vehicle, the first thing I'm going to inspect is my exhaust system. My exhaust system coming from the front all the way to the back. I'm going to make sure it's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted. This one is securely mounted by the straps and hangers. I'm going to make sure my exhaust system is not leaking. If it was leaking, I will see a black soot. From there, normally in the test strokes that we have the windshield washer reservoir right here. My windshield washer reservoir, I'm going to make sure it's not cracked, broken, or leaking, and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. If I need to add a fluid, you guys will find the cap right here. I will add it to the cap. The cap is in the lock position, it's not cracked, broken, or leaking, and the rubber seal is not necessarily worn or torn, and it will not leak. And my windshield washer reservoir is on the proper level. With that, we finish this side, and we start working to the other side. On this side, the first thing that we want to inspect is this light right here. This light, which is on the side of the truck, okay, in the front, is called the marker light. I have one on the other side, my marker lights. I'm gonna make sure they're not cracked or broken, they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. They're amber in color, the light bulb is amber in color because it's facing the front of the vehicle and the side of the vehicle. I'm gonna make sure the representation of my lights is my left turn signal, my right turn signal, my forward flashers, and my running lights. That's the purpose of these lights. From there, I will inspect my mirrors. I will touch in this one and I will touch in this one. That way they know that I'm inspecting the two mirrors. My mirrors, I'm gonna make sure they're not cracked or broken and they're securely mounted to the arms. The arms, they're not cracked or broken and they're securely mounted to the vehicle, no missing hardware. From there, I will inspect my door. My door handle is not cracked or broken. My door open and close properly. My door, you guys wanna grab it from here. I'm gonna make sure it's securely mounted by the hinges. This is the hinges. My hinges, they're properly aligned. They're not cracked or broken and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. This one right here is my inner seal and my outer seal. I'm gonna make sure it's not ripped or torn and it's a full contact to the vehicle. Now I'm gonna inspect my steps. I'm gonna touch on my steps and I'm gonna make sure they're not cracked or broken and they're securely mounted, they're not missing hardware. They're free of debris, grease, or any other object. For my steps, I will inspect my fuel tank. My fuel tank is not cracked or broken and I'm gonna look under to make sure it's not leaking. My fuel tank is securely mounted by the straps. I have two. My straps, I'm gonna make sure they're not cracked or broken and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. My fuel tank is not shifting. This one right here is my fuel cap. My fuel cap, I'm gonna make sure it's on the lock position. I'm gonna open it to make sure it has the safety chain. My safety chain is present and the rubber seal for my fuel cap is not necessarily worn or torn and it will not leak. Always make sure you close it all the way. From there, you guys will see this one right here is not required in the test truck that we have. We don't have it, and this is the battery box. Okay, it's not required for the DMV, but we wanna come into this part right here, and the first thing we wanna inspect is the cross members on this side of the vehicle. I'm gonna make sure my cross members, they're not cracked or broken, they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. The frame on this side of the vehicle, I'm gonna make sure it's securely mounted, no cracked or broken, no missing hardware, no illegal holes or illegal welds on my frame. From the frame, I'm gonna look at inside, and I'm gonna talking about this one. This is my drive shaft. My drive shaft, I'm gonna inspect it, make sure it's not cracked or broken, and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware, and it's securely mounted by U-joints. I have one in the front, one in the middle, and one in the back. My U-joints, I'm gonna make sure they're not cracked or broken and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware, and they have a properly greased. For my U-joints to be detailed on my pre-trip, I'm gonna inspect all the hoses, and you guys touching hoses. I'm gonna make sure my hoses, there are no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks, and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. I will inspect all the wires on this side of the vehicle. I'm gonna make sure it's no exposed wire, no frayed wire, properly routed, securely mounted, no missing hardware. From there, you guys wanna turn into this side, and in the test truck we have right here, we call it the splash guard. It's just in the back, like that one. It's a mud flat, okay? But you have it in the front, it's a splash guard. A splash guard is normally a plastic, so we're gonna inspect it. It's not cracked or broken, and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware, and it's securely mounted to my frame. Proper distance to my tire and proper distance to the ground. From the splash guard, I will start inspecting from the inside to the outside. The first thing I see the inside is my dual brake chamber. My dual brake chamber, I'm gonna make sure it's not cracked or broken or leaking, and it's securely mounted. And it's securely mounted by the clamps. I have one here and one in here. My 2 clamps for my brake chamber, I'm gonna make sure they're not cracked or broken or leaking, and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. The hoses for my brake chamber, and make sure you guys touching the hoses. I'm gonna make sure it's no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks, and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. You guys will not see it, but always behind the brake chamber is gonna be the push rod and the slack adjuster. I'm gonna make sure it's not cracked or broken, and they're securely mounted by the pin and collar pin. If I pull on it, it should be no more than 1 inch of the plate when my brakes are released. From there, we finish the inside part, so we start coming towards to the tire. So the first thing we want to inspect is this one right here. This is a leaf spring hanger or leaf spring mounts. I have one here and I have one in the back. I'm gonna make sure they're not cracked or broken, and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. Right in here is my leaf spring bushing. I'm gonna make sure it's not excessively worn or torn, and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. These ones right here, this is my leaf springs. My leaf springs, I'm gonna make sure they're not cracked or broken or shifting, and they're securely mounted. And they're securely mounted by, you guys will see it here, 2 U-bolts, shim, spacers, and 4 nuts. Okay? This is the bolt, U-bolt, shim, spacers right here in the middle, and the 4 nuts in the bottom. Okay? From there, we want to inspect the tire. If you guys look in here, the first thing that you guys want to inspect is going to be the axle seal. So you guys going to point it right here in the middle. My inside axle seal and my outside axle seal. I want to make sure it's not cracked or broken or leaking, and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. If my axle seal was leaking, I will see puddle or spin trail. If my axle seal was leaking, I can take it to the mechanic or a shop. I could not service myself. From there, you guys gonna come in inside again. And then you guys gonna start inspect it. You guys inspect it from the center to the outside. First thing you guys gonna inspect is these ones right here. This is my brake liners. My brake liners are gonna make sure they're not cracked or broken, they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. They're not allowed to have less than 1/4 of the inch from the thinnest point. This one right here, next to my brake liners, is gonna be my brake drum. My brake drum is not cracked or broken and is securely mounted. I'm gonna mention that my brake drum doesn't have any sign of decoloration indicating the overheating problem. Between my brake liners and my brake drum, free of debris, grease, or any other contamination. From there, because it's the 2 tires, we have 2 rims. We call them the bad rims. So we're gonna start inspecting the rims. My inside rim, my outside rim, my inside rim, and my outside rim. I want to make sure they're not cracked or broken, and they're securely mounted. They're securely mounted by the lug nuts. All my lug nuts, make sure you guys touching all the lug nuts. They're not cracked or broken, they're securely mounted, no missing anyone. If there was loose, I will see rusty in any of my lug nuts in this metal rim. If it was aluminum rim, I will see a shiny metal. I'm gonna mention that all on my 2 rims, it doesn't have any illegal holes or illegal welds. And then you guys gonna be right here, right in the middle, and you guys gonna mention in between my 2 rims is no daylight and it's a full contact. Now we're gonna inspect 2 tires. Okay, we're gonna mention my inside tire, the outside tire, my inside tire, and the outside of my tire, and the face of my 2 tires. I'm gonna make sure it's no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. I'm gonna mention that between my 2 tires, free of debris or any other object. Now we're gonna be specific on the tires. Okay, these tires right here, this is a dry tires. I'm gonna make sure they're not allowed to be they're allowed to be regrouped, recapped, or retripped, but they're not allowed to have less than 2/30 seconds of the deepest point. The air specification on my 2 tires is 120 psi, or I will check the manufacturer specification. To check the air, I will do it through the ball stamps. I have one here and one on the other side. My ball stamps, I'm gonna make sure they're not cracked or broken and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. My ball stamp cap is on the lock position. It's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted and it's not leaking. Any of my ball stamps, they're not leaking. Okay, from there, especially in the test truck, right in this area right here, right in this, where I'm gonna point it, is gonna be a shock absorber and the shock absorber mounts. The way to inspect them, my shock absorber mounts, they're not cracked or broken, they're securely mounted, no missing hardware, and my shock absorber is not leaking. And then right in the back, right in this position right here, you guys will find airbag and airbag mounts. I'm gonna make sure they're not cracked or broken, they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. And you guys will touch in the airbag. My airbag is no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks, and is securely mounted. From there, we're gonna come into the inside. And the first thing that we're gonna inspect is, you guys see this one right here? On the top of that one, in the test truck, we call it the torque arm. You guys will see it, a torque arm. My torque arm is not cracked or broken and is securely mounted, no missing hardware. From there, we're gonna come into here. And we're gonna inspect this one, and we're gonna inspect this one. This is the cross members of the back of my truck. I'm gonna make sure they're not cracked or broken, they're securely mounted, no missing hardware, doesn't have any illegal holes or illegal welds. The frame, and you guys touching the frame on this side of the vehicle, I'm gonna make sure it's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware, and it doesn't have any illegal holes or illegal welds. To be detailed on my pre-trip, all the hoses on this side of the vehicle, I'm gonna make sure there's no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks, and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. I wanna inspect all the wires on this side of the vehicle. I'm gonna make sure they're properly routed, no exposed wire, no frayed wire, securely mounted, no missing hardware. From there, you guys gonna inspect in the lights. The lights on this side of the vehicle, they're red in color because they face in the back. The function of my lights on the back is my left turn signal, my right turn signal, my forward flashers, and my running lights, and my brake lights. The clear light, it represents my reverse. The light right here is my license plate light. I'm gonna make sure it's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. From there, you guys gonna come in outside again. And then you guys will say it, between my landing gear and my vehicle is a proper distance to perform a 90-degree turn. From there, this concludes my pre-trip, and then I will start inspecting my couplings. And then you guys will inspect the couplings. This is my emergency line. This is my service line. I'm gonna make sure there's no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. They're securely mounted to the truck, and they're securely mounted to the trailer. When you guys say securely mounted to the trailer, you guys wanna grab it like this. This is my glass hand and my glass hand receivers. I'm gonna make sure they're not cracked or broken. They're securely mounted, no missing hardware. The rubber shield inside is not excessively worn or torn, and it will not leak. This one right here is my electrical cord. My electrical cord, I'm gonna make sure it's securely mounted to the tractor and securely mounted to the trailer. My electrical cord is properly routed, no exposed wire, no frayed wire, and no black tape. This is only in this section right here. I'm gonna mention that my hoses and my wire, they don't tangle in the proper distance to the frame or to the catwalk. This is the catwalk. If you don't have a catwalk to my frame. From there, we're gonna go under, and we're gonna inspect the apron. This is the apron on my trailer. I'm gonna make sure it's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted. This one is welded, so I'm gonna inspect the weld. It's not cracked, welding, or miswelding. This one right here, this is the fifth wheel. My fifth wheel is not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted. I'm gonna mention that between my apron and my fifth wheel is no daylight and it's properly greased. Now I'm gonna inspect my freewheel lever. It's on the lock position. It's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. My freewheel is securely mounted to the platform by the pin and cutter pin. This one is bolted, but on the test truck is the pin and cutter pin. My platform, I'm gonna make sure it's securely mounted to the frame of the vehicle. This one is bolted, so I'm gonna inspect all the bolts. I'm gonna make sure no any of the bolts are missing, and they're all on the tight position. They're not cracked or broken, and they're securely mounted. From here, you guys gonna go under the trailer again. And then this time, we're just gonna put ourselves right here, right in front, and we wanna point it right in there. That is the kingpin. My kingpin is not cracked or broken, and it's securely mounted, and it's on the lock position. This one right here, this is my locking jaw. My locking jaw is not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. It's on the lock position around the shank of the kingpin. Mention that, you guys gonna come in outside, and you guys will say, this concludes my brief trip.
He's at work right now.